Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Cancer October 2016 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first thing looking at for the Cancer forecast, okay, the Sun will be in Libra from October 1st to October 22nd. And this, of course, emphasizes and highlights the fourth house for Cancer. And this could be a time where perhaps that this need to shine may be in fourth house matters for Cancer, such as real estate. Cancer is associated with this anyway. This could be a very good period, auspicious period for Cancer because of that. This fondness of the home. They may want to shine and perhaps in negotiation with family members by being diplomatic with them, by showing a lot of that, maybe that Libra charm in the process. And this could be a time for Cancer where the family, it becomes a very strong point of concentration, and a lot of concentration of energy could be in home related matters right now, and that need to shine. And also the Sun will be in Scorpio from the 22nd to the 31st as far as October goes. And this could be a time where Cancer might feel the need to shine in fifth house matters. This highlights and emphasizes the fifth house, of course, for Cancer. And it could be something Scorpio-like with creative endeavors, such as maybe something with astrology as a hobby, maybe during this time, shining perhaps in romantic matters, perhaps very intense ones, being the fact it's in Scorpio. And this is a time where there might be a lot of concentration of energy putting into being perhaps very probing matters connection with children and a love matter, a romantic relationship if applicable. So anyway, well, as far as Mercury goes, Mercury will be in Virgo from the 1st till the 7th of this month. And this could be a time for Cancer for a lot of analytical, intellectual communication. And it's important to remember, too, that Virgo can be a little bit judgmental. And this is highlighting and emphasizing the third house, of course, during the short time this month that Mercury is in Virgo. And it's important to remember for Cancer not to be perhaps overly critical in their communications, perhaps with neighbors, perhaps with siblings, and communication in general. There'll be a lot of analysis during this time, and perhaps even doing some analysis with their, perhaps things with their local what I should say is their transportation, which, for example, their car, for example, a lot of that Virgo analysis and checking the health on it. So also, Mercury will be in Libra from the 7th until the 24th of this month as well. And well, this could be a time where, okay, the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Cancer. So this could be a time of a lot of diplomatic communication with family members, trying to perhaps reconcile, for example, maybe a lot of reconciliation as far as their communication goes, a lot of negotiation with family matters. If this is somebody, say you're in your latter years and you're having, and Mercury is in Libra right now, it could be a time where you might be finding maybe a balanced retirement plan, thinking about a balanced retirement plan for the end of life, for retirement period. Mercury will be in Scorpio from October 24th to October 31st as far as that October goes. And during this time, of course, the fifth house will be highlighted for Cancer. And this could be a time where there could be perhaps a lot of intense communication with children, with somebody in romance. There could be conversation with children connected maybe with things connected with astrology, the occult, the supernatural, talking about mysteries, and conversations will likely be ones that will not be superficial, and the mind will be such where, I mean, Mercury's in Scorpio, I think, gives people a little bit more of a propensity to see through the duplicity in others, and this could apply to somebody in romance, somebody with a child perhaps, and maybe somebody that they might even be closely connected to, say in some creative endeavors. So those are some things to look at with this. And well, as far as Venus goes, Venus will be in Scorpio from October 1st, October 18th, as far as October goes, the 1st through the 18th. So, well, during this time, there might be expression of some kind of enjoyment connected with something Scorpio-like, such as astrology, such as the supernatural, the occult. It could be a time for, maybe because the fifth house is what's emphasized and highlighted, it could be a time, well, if you're celebrating Halloween this month, maybe it's time you're taking the kids out to a haunted, some kind of haunted mansion or something, going to some haunted house, going to some, maybe a horror show. It could be something like that. And it could be too where, okay, Venus in Scorpio, any love that is, if you're starting some kind of love relationship, it could obviously be very intense, something that's not superficial. And being in the house of romance, this kind of further emphasizes that. So the fact that it would be something, it could really intensify the chance of being something maybe romantic if you don't currently have a romantic partner right now. So anyway, Venus will be in Sagittarius from October 18th to October 31st, as far as October goes, the 18th through the 31st. And this, it will, well, the sixth house will be what's highlighted during this time. And this could be perhaps a time where Cancer might find a lot of enjoyment of outdoors and exercise, in which will perhaps do something as far as the health goes, and it might be incorporated into that sixth house daily routine. And it could also be maybe at their job where they work at, maybe there's more something going on more outdoors, and they could experience a lot of love of this too. So, and also that love, it could be in some cases that being fact that the sixth house is what's highlighted and what's emphasized, this could be a time perhaps where Cancer might, if unattached, may meet that love perhaps at their place of employment. It could be like maybe in some cases a Sagittarius, or somebody that embodies Sagittarian-like qualities. It could be somebody that's just very exuberant, optimistic, adventurous, somebody that's enamored with sports. So, okay, well now Mars is still going to be in Capricorn, and that will emphasize and highlight the seventh house, of course. This could indicate contentious relationships and situations with others, perhaps, but being in Capricorn, this will give some discipline and some control as far as angry outbursts go. But at the same time, there might be some relationships that might be somewhat combative. And anyway, this could also open adversaries might be a little bit more combative during this time for Cancer than usual. Somebody connected maybe in a legal battle if you are engaged in one right now. Now, Jupiter is still going to be in Libra, of course, and this of course highlights and emphasizes the fourth house for Cancer, and this could indicate a lot of exuberance and optimism in home-related matters. It could bring perhaps some good fortune, some good luck in the home life by Cancer showing diplomacy, being fair-minded, equitable, by showing compromise and negotiation. Perhaps with family members, it could be a time for adding some kind of extension onto the home, or getting an even bigger, more spacious home. Even a new family member could arrive during this period. So anyway, Well, Saturn, of course, is still in Sagittarius for the month of October, and this will highlight and will emphasize the sixth house for Cancer. Now, this could be a time for Cancer where perhaps there might be some limitation, some restriction as far as the health goes. And Cancer generally doesn't have the most robust constitution anyway. But on another side of this, this could be a time for Cancer for taking responsibility in matters connected with work, service, and health, and seeing it with Sagittarius veracity and authenticity during this time. And it could be a time where Cancer may apply some higher learning, perhaps into their work life, and maybe more into their daily routine. Well, Uranus will still be in Aries during this time, and of course the 10th house is what's highlighted and what's emphasized for Cancer. Well, this could be a time for Cancer where Cancer it might be a tumultuous and chaotic period as far as their career goes, their livelihood, and maybe even with their public image in some cases. There could be some kind of unexpected or unanticipated career opportunities. This could be a time where Cancer might show perhaps a lot of ingenuity, be very innovative in their career, might come up with some new idea, maybe be more innovative during this time, and maybe it could be career related. Aries is pioneering, so you have that pioneering flavoring too as far as this go. Maybe you become an innovator during this time, or you might take up some career that could be Uranus related, such as something with computers or electronics or some kind of esoteric field such as astrology. Now, Neptune will still be in Pisces during this time, and of course the 9th house is what is highlighted and what is emphasized during this time. And this could be for Cancer to be careful of some kind of delusion or deception in connection with philosophical beliefs, maybe with religion, such as a false prophet or somebody that's teaching some religion that's fallacious or that is untrue. At the same time, on the positive side, it could show a lot of idealism in these areas as well. Cancer could be very idealistic about in-laws and grandchildren and trying to see the best in them, for example. So anyway, another thing is, okay, now Pluto is of course still going to be in Capricorn, will be for a very long time. And the 7th house is what is emphasized and what is highlighted right now for Cancer for October and for a very long time after that, of course. And this could indicate perhaps some relationships that may be obliterated during this time, some partnerships that are obliterated or destroyed. At the same time, it could indicate rebirth and regeneration in this area as well. It could indicate that there may be some open adversaries or enemies that are very formidable, that are very powerful. During this time as well, there might be some legal matters maybe come to an end, maybe are terminated, which could be good, not necessarily bad. If you're in a legal situation, maybe there's some closure at this time. Also, okay, the North Node, of course, still in Virgo at this time, and the 3rd house is what's emphasized and what's highlighted. Well, with the North Node being in Virgo, with the 3rd house being emphasized and highlighted for Cancer, well, this could be a time perhaps of some review and with a lot of Virgo analysis and scrutiny with details, matters connected perhaps with communication, with siblings, with neighbors, maybe matters connected with your transportation, such as your vehicle, your car. Maybe you're doing some analysis in terms of buying something in connection with communication, perhaps, or such as a computer during this time. And it could indicate a time also where that current karmic mission and purpose may be tied in to analytical and intellectual communications with others. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have the South Node in Pisces, and of course, the ninth house is what is emphasized and highlighted. And this could be a time perhaps of extricating oneself from some kind of perhaps fallacious religion, deceptive people in religion, maybe philosophies that are deceptive, maybe deluding oneself, maybe in terms of maybe taking unrealistic long journeys, maybe deluding themselves in the wrong philosophies perhaps. And anyway, well, Chiron of course is still going to be in Pisces during this time, and in that the ninth house is what is emphasized and highlighted for Cancer. And during this time, Cancer might feel the need to heal perhaps and help in-laws, their grandchildren if applicable, perhaps maybe heal others connected with maybe some kind of religion that might be deceptive, maybe just through religion in general, maybe through philosophy, or maybe encouraging them to take some course in higher education and some post-high school study. At the same time, Cancer might go through some suffering and really despondency in these areas as well, such as maybe there might be some emotional wounds suffered, perhaps in connection with the wrong philosophies, with the deceptive false prophets, for example, maybe false religious leaders, and maybe in some cases even in-laws that might be deceptive, maybe by deluding themselves, maybe in similar to the Neptune in Pisces thing, deluding themselves into thinking that taking long trips is going to be their means to happiness, for example, or taking unrealistic long journeys. So anyway, well, the Black Moon Lilith will be in Scorpio still during this time for Cancer, and of course the fifth house is what's highlighted for Cancer. So this could indicate some possible uninhibited erotic expression with a romantic partner. It could indicate in some cases you might be suspicious of some nefarious behavior from a loved one, maybe from children, but a lot of times this could be something that you thought and didn't and really misconstrued, and something where it didn't really, what you thought was there in terms of that was not really maybe happening. It doesn't mean it isn't, but in a lot of cases, for whatever reason, when you have the Black Moon Lilith, I think a lot of it is what somebody might misconstrue in connection with that sign that it's in the house during that transit. And it could also be to be careful, Cancer, of being perhaps some reversals in connection with gambling and speculation during this time, because it could lead perhaps to a figurative death, to your figurative death is what I'm saying, not literal one, but to the figurative death of you. So anyway, well, last but not least, on October 30th, there'll be a new moon in Scorpio, and of course the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So during this time for Cancer, it could be a period where Cancer, well, they may could embark on a deeper, non-superficial type love relationship. It could be a time where maybe Cancer might initiate something, perhaps start some new, maybe a hobby that's Scorpio-like. It could be something connected with astrology, the occult, the supernatural. It could be something even connected with some kind of transformation, something where recycling is involved, creating things with things that are recycled. And it could be applying, and even maybe with using some kind of mechanical ability in the process, because Scorpio is a sign that can have really strong aptitude as far as mechanical ability goes. Well, anyway, people, And if I didn't say it before, the fifth house is what is emphasized and highlighted as far as that new moon in Scorpio for Cancer. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the the October 2016 horoscope forecast for Cancer. Stay tuned next time where I'll be continuing my series on the Chiron transiting the houses. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.